Now we're just going to modify this Swiss cross that we've created, and the first thing that we have to do is select it. Now there's a couple of ways of selecting it. I'll go over a couple of them. If you're on another tool, the window for example, if you push the escape key, the cursor or the tool jumps up to the arrow tool, which is a general selection tool. As I've got that selected, if I roll my cursor over the object or an object, the slab in this case, it automatically identifies that and turns the cursor into a magnet. And we can see here that it's actually picked up that there's a slab there. I haven't clicked anything yet, but if I left mouse click on it, we can see that it becomes selected. We can tell that it's selected by, in the info box, it's selected all the parameters for this particular slab. Once it's selected, we can edit it. So if I left mouse click on the edge, or while the cursor becomes a Mercedes cursor, if I left mouse click, we have a pet palette comes up, and we can edit the slab. Now the other way is the old way. If you've used ArchiCAD before, if you want to edit the slab, make sure you're on the slab tool and hold the shift key down, and as my cursor goes over the edge of the slab, notice it hasn't changed, but as soon as you hold the shift key down and you click on it, it's selected it. Once it's selected, we can edit it once again. So first of all, I'm just going to edit this end of the slab. All I have to do is go to the edge and the cursor will change into a Mercedes cursor, and if I left mouse click on the while it's a Mercedes cursor, the pet palette comes up. Now I can move the tool palette by grabbing that handle, and other than that it shadows your movements with the mouse, but if you let the mouse button go, you can actually physically move it or close it if it's in the way. Now if I want that palette back again, I just go to the edge of the slab again, left mouse click on it, wait for the palette to come up, and then the top row of icons deals with directly editing the slab. The bottom row is more to do with moving, rotating, mirroring it, and we'll go over each of these commands. So the first icon is add a node. So if I let my mouse button go, as soon as that happens, it's selected. Now it's trying to draw an extra node. So I can just click wherever I want that, and I can keep clicking on the edge and keep adding nodes. If I go Control or Apple Z, it undoes all those changes. Now if I left mouse click once again, the next one is add a radius or an arc. Over here you can see there's a figure there in the tracker box. So I'm just going to type in a radius of 3 meters there without touching anything else and just pushing enter. That gives me my radius. Control Z undoes it. Next one is a radius via or using a Bezier type handle. It's just another method. Control Z. Next one is moving the whole edge of a polygon. So if I let my mouse button go on this icon, we can move that whole edge uniformly. I can also type in a distance, as once again we can see in the tracker box, type in 600. That edge has now been moved 600 millimeters. So Apple Z or Control Z undoes it again. Next is a boolean function. If I let my mouse button go on that icon, doesn't look like anything's happening, but if I draw something and I touch or overlap the existing polygon or the slab, it will join them automatically and create it. It will create just one big slab. So Control Z again. Then the final editing method is, if I hold the left mouse button down, is the boolean where it subtracts. So if I let my mouse button up while I'm on that icon, I can actually draw within that slab and any shape that I like. and as I close that polygon, it chops or subtracts that shape or polygon from the original polygon. So have a look at that in 3D. Beautiful. So I'm just going to close it off, go Control Z again, or Apple Z. The last thing you might want to do to edit this slab is draw a pure circle in it. Using the existing tools that we've gone over so far, we can't draw a perfect circle. However, if we draw inside it while it's selected, and the slab tool is selected, we can subtract or cut a hole from it. So editing a slab, or any other element for that matter, if we select it, make sure the slab tool is selected in the toolbox, in the design toolbox, and as we draw inside it, we can draw any shape we like, and it will cut that shape out. If it's a bit more difficult to draw a pure circle, so if you deselect it, click on the arc or circle 2D drawing tool, and if I draw a little circle, I can actually type in the radius there if I like. So if I go to it's just a 2D entity, but if I go to the 3D window, we can see there's nothing shown there, just to prove that it's a 2D element. Then if I click to the slab tool, hold the shift key, select the slab tool, then I'm going to hold my spacebar down, and as I hold the spacebar down, you'll notice that the cursor will change form so it looks like a magic wand. And the magic wand's got all lovely little sparklies around it, but as you go over the 2D line, it changes into a polygon type shape. While I'm holding the spacebar down still, I left mouse click, it will cut a hole that will copy that circle that we've actually drawn. So if I deselect it and go to the 3D window, we can see that we've actually created a perfect circle in there. So I'm just going to close it off now and go Control or Apple Z and undo all those. Now editing the slab, there's a couple of things we've still got to go over. If I try and edit it from a corner, we get a different range of tools, basically across the top only. We have the chamfer or filleting, where I can fillet or chamfer the edge, and I can do all the edges at the same time. If I type in a radius there of 500, push OK. We can do one corner or all corners, obviously. I'm just going to push Apple Z again, undo it. Now this pallette's come up again. Now even though this is not the palette that I want, ArchiCAD has remembered that the last time I used this tool, this is a function that I use. So I just have to push cancel here while it's open, and then the pet palette is still live, so I'm going to move this back up here. This time I'm going to select the second icon, and this offsets all the edges at the same time, and we can see the effect that that's having there. So I can move or expand the slab by the same distance all the way around the circumference. So I just made it 1500 bigger, for example. Other than that, the icons are exactly the same. I'll just do those together. That icon and that icon are different. Now if we go to the edge, we can see that these three icons are slightly different. So if I escape out of there, I'm going to select the slab again, go to the edge. This time I'm going to the bottom row of editing tools. This first icon's just moving the slab. So if I wanted to move a whole element, I just use that. Control Z. If I left mouse click again, this time I want to rotate it. Then as I lift my finger off the left mouse button, the icon changes into a white pencil. Now as we move that pencil over to or above another node, the pencil changes to a black pencil. Then once that pencil becomes black, we know that we're above a node or point that we actually want to align to. And when you're rotating or mirroring anything, you want to make sure you do it from a point or node that we know the position of, so when we actually do this we can do it accurately. So if I I'll click there once, and then a guideline will come out from that initial point, and I will align that to another node via the smart cursor, or the little tick is even better. And once the tick symbol comes up, I can actually click once again, and then I can rotate it. I'm just going to rotate this to 45 degrees and click once again. Now I wasn't holding any of the mouse buttons while I was actually moving that slab. I'm going to rotate that back using the same method rather than going Control Z. So first of all, left mouse click on the edge of the polygon, select the right icon, click the point of origin where I want to rotate from again, click along one of the surfaces which I know that I want to line up with the 90 degree where we were before. Then I just rotate it and move it. Then I left mouse click once again, and now we're back to where we started. If I left mouse click once again, I can mirror the object. So if I let my left mouse button off, I can select this icon. Once again, I get a black pencil. I'll touch a node, click once. It's trying to rotate it for me. But if I move up the page, hold the shift key down. I don't need to hold the shift key at the moment because I've got the smart guides there. And if I click once, we can see that I've actually mirrored that slab. I'm just going to draw something in it so we can see that that actually happened. I'm going to mirror that again. Left mouse click, move the cursor up, and we can see that it's mirrored it. Finally, we can elevate the slab. So at the moment, the slab's at the top of it is at 5500. If I want to elevate it, I can just let my mouse button go while I'm on the icon and fill that in. I'm going to elevate it by 400. Push OK. We can see now it's at 59. I'm just going to go Control Z, and we can see it's back to 55. I'm going to cancel that because once again it's remembered that that's the last function I used. Now I'm going to go to this multiply button. If I click on this icon, there's a number of different options of how we can multiply. We can drag copies, space them by increments, distribute them, spread them. We can also rotate numerous copies, elevate, and matrix them as well. We'll go over these multiply commands in another movie on this DVD. If I click on the object, I'm just dragging a line out with no particular orientation, and I'm just going to rotate the copies from that point where I clicked first. If I go Control Z, we will go over those multiply commands in another movie, but there's a bunch of different ways where we can edit and move an object, a slab in this case, and now we'll move on to the next section.